Us this morning in on the West Coast. I am here on the East Coast, so it is a good afternoon for me, a great morning for you. Um, Anytime we get a chance to, give a little education or a little information, to me, that's always a great day. Um, this presentation is being provided for you because the San Francisco Public Library System feels that the Weiss Financial Ratings database is a fantastic resource for their patrons, and they want to make sure that it is offered to you. If you have any questions whatsoever in regards to running your own very in regards to running your own report, I always suggest to utilize what I consider what has unfortunately become the most unutilized resource that nobody uses anymore. And that's our reference librarians. They're there to help you. They live and they breathe to give you the information. And I can tell you one thing, as a youngster, I disliked the Dewey Decimal System in the worst way, and I always ran to my reference librarian, especially asking where the martial art magazines were. But again, if you have any questions in regards to running your own report, never hesitate to go into your local San Francisco library, and they will certainly assist you in doing so. But I'm fairly certain with what we're going to go over today, you'll become old school pros at this. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here. Now, one of the things that I wanted to discuss today is right off the bat, I am not the expert on this. Do I know enough to be really dangerous? Absolutely. I will show you who the experts are that can answer pretty much almost any question that you may have. But I'm fairly certain that we're going to go over pretty much everything that you're going to be looking to hear today or learn. And if there are any changes, one of the things that everyone consistently said with a lot of my meetings so far is the big question is, what's happening with Medicare? Well, nothing is happening with Medicare. Medicare is not going anywhere. So right off the bat, I want everyone to feel a level of ease before we dive into this. Premiums go up a little bit. They haven't gone up tremendously, but every year premiums tend to go up. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get started. And like Jonathan had made mention, this presentation. So don't feel overly compelled to jot a ton of notes down because Jonathan will be sharing this PowerPoint presentation with you via email. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started. And this is the Medicare Supplement Insurance, how to pick the right plan and get the best rate. We'll share a few Medigap secrets that might save you a bunch of money too. Actually, it's going to save you a lot of money. One of the things that I can promise you from Weiss Financial Ratings is that we don't make any markets in securities. We don't sell any insurance. So with all of that being said, you're absolutely going to get independent, unbiased, and very accurate information today. This Medicare and Medigap discussion is designed to help you navigate through the Medicare maze. You notice how I said maze. For anybody who is just venturing into the Medicare phase of their life, you're sort of getting that uneasy feeling on what does Medicare cover and what am I responsible for? And that is always the common question. Today, we'll talk about some of the options that are available to you outside of Medicare. Some people feel that Medicare is enough for them. Some people feel like they want some sort of supplemental plan. Those two supplements that you can add, one would be the Medicare Advantage plan, and the next would be the Medicare Supplemental Medigap plan. Which seems to be growing to be the most popular option for a lot of seniors. Okay, our primary goal today is to tell you about the choices that you do have available to you and help you save as much money as possible. At the end of this discussion, you'll be able to download your own customized comprehensive Medigap report that can help you find and select the best Medicare supplement insurance policy for you with the strongest companies and for the least amount of money. And you can do it for free. Why? Because San Francisco Public Library feels that this is a dynamite resource for their patrons. Here's some of the things that we're going to cover today. One, major expenses that Medicare doesn't cover. When is open enrollment and what does that actually mean? Why Medigap can be better than Medicare Advantage. And you'll see there, I did underline the word can because it can be, and most of the time it is. But there are some instances where Medicare Advantage would be just, plenty for you. But for the most part, the Medicare Medigap supplement is typically the best type of coverage. How to get lower premiums and save hundreds, if not even thousands of dollars a year. Because you are in a metropolitan area, the likelihood is it is in the thousands. Well, now let's talk about open enrollment. Now, open enrollment, when we can join Medicare, is the initial 7-month enrollment period. And that enrollment period starts 3 months before your 65th birthday. And then, of course, the month of your 65th birthday, or 3 months after your 65th birthday. Now, when talking about the open enrollment period, which we are actually right in the middle of right now, open enrollment period is October 15th to December 7th. So right about now, you're probably seeing a lot of infomercials on TV, probably getting a lot of emails or text messages, or you might even have some brokers giving you a call, or you might be going to some of your local town meetings or some of your government meetings where people are there presenting to you. This is probably the busiest time for Medicare, clients. And this is the time where they get a chance to select whether or not they're going to keep what they have or they're going to switch some things up. It's also important to know that if you are still working and covered by your employer's insurance, Medicare can supplement your employer coverage. When can you change your plan or your insurer? If you have a Medigap plan right now and want to change your plan or your insurer, you can do so during the open enrollment each year from October 15th to December 7th. Your coverage will start on January 1st. Really important. I'm going to re-emphasize that to you. So many people will go in and maybe start with a lower level of coverage in regards to a supplemental plan. Maybe because they're not planning on traveling abroad, because maybe there is a partner or a spouse that maybe hasn't retired just yet. And then all of a sudden, both your partner or your spouse has retired and you've decided that maybe you want to travel overseas. So you're going to want to get maybe a little bit more of a comprehensive coverage that may include coverage abroad. So many people that I have run across went ahead and they binded their insurance, let's say November 2nd, and then they immediately start trying to use that particular coverage. Again, that coverage does not start until January 1st. So your prior coverage will continue until December 31st. That new coverage will not start until January 1st. Hopefully that makes sense. Well, understanding Medicare coverage. Whenever I take a look at this slide, I still feel a little confused myself. Why? I'll explain. Medicare Part A is absolutely a part of Medicare. Medicare Part B is also a part of Medicare. Now, Medicare Part C, the Medicare Advantage, and Medicare Part D, prescription drug coverage, you will see as we move along the slides here that those are not a part of Medicare. Now, the Medicare Part A, that is your hospital insurance. That's your inpatient services if you got admitted to a hospital. The Medicare Part B, that is going to cover your annual physician visits, any diagnostics. Now, the Medicare Part C, which is the Medicare Advantage, I'll explain a little further along in the presentation on what Medicare Advantage is and also what Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage is. Medicare Part A, it covers hospital-related services and emergency care, inpatient hospitalization, home health services, skilled nursing services, as well as hospice. Now, Medicare Part A does not cover all of the hospital costs. I'm going to repeat that. Medicare Part A does not cover all of your hospital costs, and it absolutely does not cover long-term care. Medicare Part B, as we mentioned earlier on, that covers your regular medical care and helps with outpatient services like your primary care physician office visits, laboratory services, and ambulatory services, and of course, any diagnostic services that are needed. Those are included in your Medicare Part B. And I would probably tend to think that most of you feel you're totally covered. Well, let's go and let's start evaluating a little bit more what Medicare covers. Medicare does not cover all of the costs associated with hospital and medical insurance, and it does not include prescription drug coverage. So at Medicare Part D, there is no prescription drug coverage through Medicare. This is a slideshow that everybody likes to see. This actually tells us what our Medicare out-of-pocket costs are going to be for this upcoming year. Now, what I want to point out is your Part B. If anybody here is already enrolled in Medicare, you will see that for the most part, your Medicare premium comes out of your Social Security. That's how most people have it done. And it's $185 is your Part B monthly premium. Now, on top of that, when we take a look at the Part A, which is the hospital, the inpatient services, days 1 through 60, if we got admitted to the hospital, we would be required to pay the first $1,676 before Medicare would pay anything. So again, days 1 through 60, we are required to pay the first $1,676. Now, if we needed to spend 61 to 90 days in the hospital, we would be required to pay the first $419 per day. I want to repeat that. So if the hospital room costs you $500 for the day, Medicare would expect us to pay the first we would pay the first $419 before they would pay the $81. So we are required to pay that out-of-pocket cost before they pay anything. Now, God forbid that we need to spend 91 to 150 days in the hospital. We're required to pay the first $838 per day. So obviously you could see on how quickly this could really mount up as in regards to costs, especially for seniors on a fixed income. Now, again, when we looked at the Part B, which is your primary care physician visits, we have our one-time $257 annual deductible. And if we spent any time in a skilled nursing facility, the first 20 days are usually covered. And after the first 20 days, we would be required to pay $209.50 per day before Medicare would pay anything. After 100 days at a skilled nursing facility, we would be responsible for the full cost. So obviously you could see on how quickly some things can mount up here, and maybe having a supplemental policy would be more appropriate.
Tom, can
You're
I
up,
interrupt you for a second?
by all means.
There's a clarifying question.
Mhm.
So is this for 2026 or 2025? When you
So,
mentioned the upcoming year,
so, so these are the costs for 2026. Obviously, what we're um, what we're going into right now, what we're solidifying in the way of finding coverage is in 2025, but will not be put into play until January 1st of 2026. So these are numbers. So if you bind insurance today and that insurance is not going to start until January 1st, these are the actual numbers for 2026. And you will see that these numbers most of the time will change once we roll around towards the open enrollment period next year as well. This year it wasn't all too bad. They rose a couple of dollars, nothing crazy, but they do change, and they usually the changes roll out in July or August, just before the open enrollment period, so that people have an idea of what the costs are going to be for the following year. Hopefully that clarified.
thank you.
You're very welcome. So here are the hidden costs of Medicare, and none of these are covered. Prescription drugs, vision, emergency care abroad, dental, and hearing aids. Well, I can tell you right off the bat, you're in San Francisco, I'm in New York. It's almost like a prerequisite here in New York that everyone has high blood pressure. So everyone gets a chance to maybe get on some Remipril to try to keep the blood pressure down a little bit. I'm sure in San Francisco, you sort of have that fast pace of life as well. So right off the bat, I'm going to need prescription drug coverage when I hit my Medicare days. 5 years ago, I didn't need these. Unfortunately, I need them now. So I'm going to need vision. Myself, I do an extensive amount of traveling, especially overseas, especially in the East. I go to Singapore, Thailand a lot. It's important for me to have emergency care abroad. Dental, I'm a steak connoisseur. I love steak. So, having a good set of teeth is always great if you want to enjoy a good steak. And then hearing aids, as my kids would say, "Hey, Dad, maybe you need hearing aids." I always just tell them it's selective listening. But for me, I'm pretty much hitting every cylinder here. So for me, it's going to be really important that I probably get the most comprehensive coverage available. I don't know where you lie in these needs, but these are hidden costs that are not covered by Medicare. When Medicare was established back in 1965, it was never meant to cover all of the medical care for your senior years. It really was only intended to cover only the most basic of needs. You do have choices in regards to your health care. You can stick with the Medicare Part A and Part B if you feel that'll be enough for you, or you can purchase additional coverage. And you can make this decision based upon your own unique healthcare needs. Now, I just had made mention some of my unique healthcare needs, and I would suggest that you do that as well. Definitely look into family medical history as well as your own medical history to see what type of coverage you think might be most appropriate for you. But again, this was established back in 1965. There were a lot of people that just chose not to go visit their primary care physician on an annual basis. And unfortunately, people were getting sicker and they were moving on a lot sooner. Today, our average life expectancy has risen tremendously. And it is because we do have these type of policies in place that will allow our seniors to go and at least get checked in on once a year just to make sure everything is on the up and up healthcare wise. The two choices to fill the gaps that Medicare does not cover is one, the Medicare Advantage, that is the Part C, and the Medicare Supplement Insurance, better yet known as Medigap. Now, I had made mention that Medicare Advantage is not a part of Medicare. Medicare Advantage Part C is coverage that is provided by a private insurance, and it's limited to a defined network of end providers. It combines Part A and Part B, and oftentimes, and this is usually the magnet, Part D, which is your prescription drug coverage. If you read your Medicare welcome kit, you will see that they are going to require that you get some sort of prescription drug coverage. And a lot of times in these Medicare Advantage plans, the Part D prescription drug coverage is usually included. Do need to let you know that if you do decide to go with a Medicare Medigap supplemental policy, although they may not offer prescription drug coverage, always know almost every insurance company does offer some sort of small policy that you can add vision and dental and prescription drug coverage. You're not just pigeonholed into Medicare Advantage because they're the only ones that are offering that prescription drug coverage. The Medicare Supplement Insurance.
Tom,
Yes.
one other clarification from a few slides ago. This is about the $1,676 Part A deductible. Is that per calendar year or per admission?
That is per calendar year. That starts January 1st, and it'll take you till December 31st. That is per calendar year.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, when we were talking about that 1676, because that is for a lot of seniors on a fixed income, that is a very frightening number. That's a lot of money to come out of pocket if you had to be admitted to the hospital. Well, the Medicare Supplement Insurance, better yet known as Medigap, it actually covers those deductibles, the co-payments, and the co-insurances. So that $1,676, the $419, the $838, or the $209.50 for the nursing services, excuse me, I apologize for that. Those are all covered. That is why a lot of people tend to be leaning now towards more Medigap insurance to opposed to the Medicare Advantage, because the Medicare Advantage still does have some copays that are involved there. The Medicare Supplement Insurance, better yet known as Medigap, it is designed to fill those gaps that Part A and Part B does not cover. Here we have a side-by-side comparison. And this shows Medigap, the original Medicare, and Medicare Supplement. You may have higher premiums, but there are no copays. You have the freedom to choose your own doctors. No referrals are necessary. Now, here's one of the downsides of the Medigap is that some routine services like vision and hearing, they are not included. However, you are covered anywhere in the United States, and 6 of the 10 plans that are offered offer coverage abroad. That's really important. If you're somebody that likes to stay stagnant right there in San Francisco, then maybe an Advantage plan may be appropriate for you. But if you have family members in other parts of the state, or different parts of the country, you'll want to make sure that you have that type of coverage. God forbid something happens to you, maybe while you're visiting loved ones. Now, the Medicare Advantage, it generally has lower premiums, but it does have copays. I wouldn't say the word may be restricted to a network. Most of the time it is restricted to a network. And most of the times they will seek referrals to go see specialists. Now, one of the nice things is that they do include extra benefits like vision, hearing, and even some offer some reimbursement for fitness memberships. Now, outside of your service area, you're limited to emergency services only. So again, that's going into the emergency room, being treated. And let's hope that you don't need to be admitted to the hospital, because then you are immediately out of emergency services and you will start accumulating a bill at that point. Secret number one.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Um, we do a couple questions here. So one participant was asking if we're going to be covering both HMO and PPO coverage. Maybe you could explain how that relates to these plans.
So when every insurance company will offer an HMO and a PPO. PPO is pretty much considered the most comprehensive coverage. Um, you have the most amount of flexibility with a PPO as well. So if it's really important for you to choose your own doctor or a doctor that you really feel confident in, a PPO might be the right choice for you. HMOs, you typically have a couple of more caveats that may not allow you to select a doctor that is of your choosing. You may be asked to pick from a pool of physicians that are provided by that insurance company. But PPOs offer you much more broad choices.
And so are these Medigap or Medicare Advantage plans? You'll have HMO or PPO options. Is that
I think every insurance company, when they go and they run their comprehensive report, um, they will have several choices. And for the most part, we'll go over the 10 plans for the Medigap, Plan A through Plan N. Plan G is the most comprehensive. That is the PPO of supplemental insurance. That is carte blanche. You can pick any doctor you want. You could sort of go anywhere you want to go. Um, However, you do have other plans like a plan A or a plan B where the coverage isn't as comprehensive, and some of those will offer PPOs, but they will also offer HMOs. But I think that if somebody's looking for comprehensive coverage and they're looking for freedom of choice, PPO is always a very strong candidate for that type of coverage.
okay? We have a couple more questions. So what happens if an admission to, for example, a hospital or skilled nursing starts 1 year and ends the next year? Like if you're admitted December 15th and discharged January 15th.
So what's going to wind up happening is it's going to start the cycle over again, because at that point you would be starting a new policy. The policy only runs in a calendar year. So once that policy expires, one, during the open enrollment period, either that is just going to roll into a new policy, or you're going to make a choice to change. But again, December 31st, that is when that policy expires and a new policy would then start. And then everything starts from zero.
Okay. And maybe this is a related question. This participant is questioning the use of a year, saying that the deductible for Medicare Part A applies to a benefit period, um, which is a modified admission. I'm not
Yeah, so
sure what.
what we're going into right now is Medigap and Advantage plans, not the actual Medicare plan itself. So we're talking about supplemental policies that go into play, but also Medicare does work on a calendar year as well. I do not believe that Medicare is on a running calendar. I would probably say, and we hadn't gotten towards the end here, you'll see that I have SHIP counselors information. SHIP counselors, they are the experts in Medicare. They live and they breathe this. They're government employees. They get paid by the government. They have no tooth in the game whatsoever. So therefore, they're going to give you the most unbiased opinions. They're also going to give you the most unbiased information in the way of specific needs. There are a lot of people that have very specific needs, very unique situations, and they would definitely be the person that I would contact to put a strategy together for that. And they would probably be able to answer most of the questions that might be out of the scope of the norm. I would definitely contact your local ship counselor there, and I know San Francisco has quite a few.
Okay, thank you. And just let everyone know, we'll let Tom proceed with his presentation. I think some questions that come up might be answered in the course of the rest of the presentation. So we'll maybe interrupt if there's an important clarifying question, but otherwise we'll get to some of these at the end during a dedicated Q&A session.
So, sounds fantastic. Thank you. So secret number one, Medigap plans offer identical coverage. And a lot of people are very unaware of that. There are 10 Medigap plans I had just made mention just a few moments ago. Plans A through Plan N. Plan F and Plan G also have high deductibles plans. So for every lettered plan, every insurer that offers that plan, they provide the same exact benefit. So all Plan A's have all the same services. All Plan G's, all the same services. The government actually mandates that all of these plans have the same services. Now, the thing that the government doesn't mandate is how much you pay. And that's why the comprehensive report at the very end, the supplemental pricing tool, will be so extremely important to you so that you never have to overpay for a policy that fits your needs. And again, that means that all Plan A's have the same exact coverages. All Plan B's, Plan F's, and Plan G's, they're all the same. You can pick the plan that has the coverage that you want. Now, again, some are more comprehensive, like Plan A and Plan B are a little less comprehensive. Plan F and Plan G are the most comprehensive. You can compare one insurer to another, and you can pick the plan that has the best rate. These are some questions that you might want to ask yourself when picking a Medigap plan. What is your income? Using a customized Medigap report, you can shop for a Medigap plan that has the most benefits that will fit within your budget. One of the first things that my father taught me at a very young age is that you never want to be house poor. You never want to be car poor. You never want to be insurance poor. Now, it never hurts to have a lot of insurance. However, you don't want to stretch your wallet out to a point where it's becoming very difficult for you to be able to cover those monthly premiums. And then all of a sudden you wind up not paying that monthly premium and your coverage gets dropped. You don't want to ever be in that position. Another thing you might want to think about is whether or not you'll need or want nursing care. My mother spent better part of 19 months in a nursing care facility. She had cardiovascular disease. So for me, we have some family history where nursing care facilities might be appropriate. There are some families out there where they'll never let their loved ones go to a nursing care facility. But there are many that do not have a choice and they need to go there. Do you travel a lot overseas? Well, if so, you can get coverage for emergency care in foreign countries with Plan C through G, M, and N. So you see just how comprehensive a Medigap plan can actually be. Now, deciding between Medigap plans, one, you could pay a higher premium for that more comprehensive coverage, like a Plan G, might be a little bit more expensive. But if I guess the analogy that I'll use is that if you like walking the high wire, just know that 3 feet underneath you, there's a beautiful safety net there. So if you want to try some tricks and have some fun, go right ahead because you have a safety net underneath you. Or you can pay a little less for your premium and potentially pay a little bit more out of pocket. Now, maybe we're not going to do any cartwheels on a high wire because that net might be 15 feet below me and I might absorb some impact there. So I'll be a little bit more cautious. When comparing plans, this is going to show you the coverage. These are the 10 plans. There is your F high deductible and your G high deductible. The only difference between Plan F and Plan G is that Plan F covers that Part B deductible, that $257. But as you can see, Plan F and Plan G are the most comprehensive coverage. Now, Plan F is no longer available to many. It's discontinued. And I'll explain how you might still be eligible for Plan F, and then obviously why you may not be eligible for Plan F. And to be quite honest with you, in this day and age, over the last 2 years, the Plan G annual premium has been over $300 cheaper than Plan F. So it more than covers that $257 annual deductible that you might pay. Secret number 2 is Medigap plans are standard, but the rates are not. I had made mention of that earlier on. All plans within each lettered plan, they have to be identical. The government mandates it. They don't mandate the rates, and insurance companies can charge whatever they want. Insurance premiums can vary thousands of dollars a year for the same exact coverage. I'm going to go over some examples here. Some of these examples are examples that I actually ran this morning. So these are actual numbers. If you would like me to share with you the companies that I am utilizing today, and again, I'm using these for example purposes. I am not saying that you should run out and bind insurance with these companies. But I ran these off of Plan G, which is the most comprehensive coverage. And what I did was I pulled the plan with the highest coverage dollar amount, which would be the highest premium per year. And because the highest premium insurance company was a national name brand company, the lowest is not actually the very lowest, but it is the lowest national name brand company because I wanted to be able to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges for you. So I'm going to go over that. And if for any reason you'd like to know the names of the companies, and by the way, on all examples, it's the same companies for both the high and the low. Jonathan can certainly pop back in and ask what the names of the companies were. I'd be more than happy to share that with you. Plan G's highest premium for a 65-year-old female living in San Francisco, California, was $3,560 per year. The lowest premium was $1,793. Now, if this young lady had gone on and did a comprehensive report and found the lower premium, she would have saved $1,767 per year.
Tom, just a quick clarification. Do these rates vary by city and state of the applicant or by health history?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you exactly how most of the insurance companies give premiums here. One, you'll see at the very end, you can elude leaving your name or your email address, but the 3 things that we cannot elude is one's age, their gender, or their zip code. And the reason that is because obviously as we get a little older, we get a little more brittle, so premiums typically go up. Females have a longer life expectancy than males. So females typically get more preferred rates than males do in the way of insurance. And zip code plays an extremely vital role because, believe it or not, this might be the one city that I might not be able to say this to. Physicians in San Francisco might be charging a little differently than they are here in the metropolitan New York area. Those are all going to dictate that premium pricing when you run that comprehensive report. Because one of the things that Weiss Financial Ratings prides ourselves on is being accurate. And I've never seen us off by more than $1 on a premium. So if there is a premium that you see in a company that you like and you wind up calling that company, know that we're pretty spot on. We pulled that quote up that exact moment. So we're pretty confident in that. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. Well, does health history come into play at
Well,
all with?
yeah, I mean, health is always going to play a vital role. However, I don't think it plays as much of a vital role as one would be frightened. I've met a lot of people that get extremely frightened that maybe they're not in optimal health. Um, it is a rarity that people get declined for coverage. Maybe you may not qualify for the standard or preferred policy. Maybe you might fall into a level two status. Just so you know, insurance companies have moved away from using the terminology substandard. So they use the terminology level two. And I'm also going to highly encourage, I've had so many friends that have been smokers for so long, and they're so frightened to look for insurance. And when you run a report, you'll even see some of the tobacco policies are not nearly as expensive as you think they are. They might be 100 or 200 more a year than a standard policy for somebody that doesn't smoke. So I always say it never be frightened. You're always better off going and taking a look. And again, there are people who have illnesses, and maybe you might only qualify for a level two. And a lot of times, after 5 years, you're in remission of maybe cancer or some disease of that nature. A lot of times, you might qualify for a standard policy, especially if you're showing, standard health throughout that time. So, never be afraid to find out.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So here's a male age 68 living in San Francisco, California. Now, the highest Plan G premium was $3,978 per year. And if he did a little shopping, he found a policy for $1,855. Now, because this gentleman shopped, he saved $2,123 for the year. That's a lot of money. Outside of New York and San Francisco, I would probably say that's somebody's utility bill for the year, but probably not for us. But it is a lot of money. And this is really something that resonates with me is the very next page. What we did was we combined the female, 65 years of age, and the male, age 68, living in San Francisco, California. Now, again, it's the same companies. Really, all I did was combine the premiums. So together, they would pay $7,538 a year for the company that had the highest premium. Plan G's lowest premium combined would be $3,648. Well, together, this couple would have saved $3,890. That's at least a 7-night cruise. And I would much rather my grandparents go on a 7-night cruise than to give it to the highest premium insurance company. Now, I'm quite surprised that nobody has asked me the name of the companies, but I'll go ahead and I'll move on. How safe is your insurer? This is really important. Weiss safety ratings. If you see a rating of an A or a B, you're in good shape. We use a traffic light model. So if you see green, that typically means that all of the numbers are in line. The financial strength of the organization is in line. Uh, C doesn't necessarily mean run away from the company. It just means that the numbers aren't as strong as we would like them to be. And at the end of the day, when we want to have our policies paid for and we need to play a little tug of war, I'd rather not see Mr. Louis Ferrigno, aka the Incredible Hulk, on the other side of the tug of war rope. I'd rather see Pee Wee Herman there. So again, A and B probably going to have a lot easier of a time to making sure that our procedures are taken care of. But obviously, as we start looking down towards D and E, it may grow a little more difficult because many of these insurance companies don't have the financial fortitude to pay out as other organizations do. Safer insurers are not necessarily
So
more expensive.
Tom,
Yes. Yeah.
someone took the bait. A couple people. What were the companies?
So the highest premium one was Humana. Humana has an A safety rating, which is the highest safety rating of all insurance companies for the Medigap plans. The lowest premium was USA, a life insurance company. Now that company has a B plus safety rating, so not far off from an A. Both of them are really good. Just one, you're going to pay half the prices of the other one. And again, it's a plan G. You're getting the same exact coverage. You're just getting an opportunity to save a lot more money. And that was the same across the board. It was Humana for the highest and USAA Life Insurance Company for the least expensive. The actual least expensive was a company called Picken Life, but I can't compare Humana to Picken Life. Probably many people that are with us today don't know who Picken Life is, but everybody has heard of USAA Life Insurance Company. So hopefully that answered their question. Safer insurers are not necessarily the most expensive. Well, we just had that conversation just a moment ago. In this aspect, Humana is a little bit of a little higher, stronger rating than USAA Life Insurance Company, but an A to a B plus, is that really going to deter me from saving half the premium dollar amount? I'm pretty okay with a B plus if I'm going to save 50% of the premium.
Tom, there are a couple questions about the safety rating. One participant asked what factors into a safety rating, and then another participant asks, what does a safer company mean in this context?
So the first thing right off the bat is the financial strength of the company and the credit quality of the company. That is their financial their financial status and being able to pay, the ability to pay on any of these. Obviously, if a company is not in the greatest financial position, you will probably tend to see them lag a little bit more with paying those bills. But companies like a Humana or a USAA life insurance company, you might have a little bit of an easier time, getting a procedure approved in a timely fashion. And you most likely won't have many issues with the office manager of your doctor's office giving you a call saying, hey, I'm having the darndest time getting a hold of your insurance company. They don't seem to want to call me back. So again, it's really important that you always search for the highest safety rating, and that is whether you're dealing with a bank, a credit union, or an insurance company. One of the nice things with the Weiss financial ratings database, outside of the Medicare Medigap supplemental pricing tool, is that we actually have this tool available for you where you can take a look at the safety rating of insurance companies on all different lines of insurance, whether it's automobile insurance, business insurance, medical malpractice, Medicare supplement insurance, you name it, property and casualty, we cover it. I would always recommend taking a look at the safety rating of an insurance company before buying or binding that insurance policy. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, and then we have several questions about this, so I feel like maybe now is the time to address it. About USAA and the eligibility for that. Is that just for
Nope,
military and military families? No.
no.
Okay.
Anybody can get USAA life insurance.
Life insurance or
Oh, I mean,
uh,
I
the
apologize.
Medigap?
Medicare supplement.
Right.
Their insurance division, USAA life insurance or medical insurance, you can get without being a member or having a family member. It is their checking in their savings where you would have to have some sort of connection to military services.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It is a common question. The second I say USAA life insurance, like, but I don't have anybody in the military. When it comes to their insurance division, you don't need to have that connection. So here, higher premiums don't mean you're getting coverage from a stronger, more financially stable insurance provider. Now, here's one of the nice things. Each state and each city allows a certain amount of insurance companies to do business in their area. The one nice thing about San Francisco is they limit the amount of poorly rated insurance companies. A lot of the insurance companies that are eligible for you typically have A, B, and there's a few C rateds in there, but there are very few D or E rateds, if any at all. So San Francisco has done a fantastic job because there's many states like Illinois where there's 10 insurance companies that have a safety rating of a D or an E. And in the good words of Jenny, to Forest Run, I probably wouldn't do business with a company that has a D or an E rating because the likelihood is you're going to get what you're paying for. Secret number 4, you can make the choice. Well, everybody has the choice. The choice is always ours. You can get more coverage for less using a Medigap plan. You can reduce your premium. And how can we do that? By going on to that supplemental pricing tool to make sure that we're not overpaying. Maybe Humana looked fantastic and everything that they said on the infomercial on TV was spot on. And maybe the price didn't scare us. But did we know that we had another very highly rated company like USAA Life Insurance Company or even the State Farm Insurance Company that were both highly rated and yet almost half the price? This always gives you the opportunity to never overpay for a policy. Balance the financial safety of your insurer with your choice of plan. Again, one of the nice features here in San Francisco is they've done a fantastic job with not letting poorly rated insurers provide coverage in their area. The 4 secrets: Medigap plans offer identical coverage. Medigap plans are standard, but again, the rates are not. Safer insurers are not necessarily more expensive. And of course, you can make the choice. Now, here we have the Weiss Financial Ratings Medigap report. It helps you make the right choice for you and your specific situation. Again, if you have a very complex situation, I will show you within the next few slides how to get a hold of your SHIP counselor. And if you need to put a strategy in place, they are absolutely the individual to help you achieve that. Again, you can pick the right coverage, you can pick the lowest rate, and you can save valuable time and money. And you can pick the best and most affordable plan from all available providers, customized just for you. And why is that? Because the San Francisco Public Library System feels that this supplemental pricing tool is such a valuable resource that will allow you to be a very effective shopper. Here are some common questions. Now, I had made mention that Plan F is no longer available to a lot of people. If you were eligible for Medicare after January 1st of 2020, Plan C and Plan F will not be available to you. Again, the alternative is Plan G there. If you were eligible for Medicare, though, prior to January 1st, 2020, you can continue to enroll into a Plan C or a Plan F. And if not, just remember Plan D can be used as a substitute for Plan C and Plan G instead of Plan F. And again, the only difference is that annual deductible of $257 for the Part B deductible. And again, the annual premium between Plan F and Plan G, the difference in annual premium is over $300. So that $257 annual deductible sort of becomes null and void. The solutions offered by Weiss Ratings Customized Medigap Report is to help you find and select the best Medigap policy for you with the strongest companies for the least amount of money. Naturally, every person's situation is very unique. So if you do have more questions, these are some of the people that I would highly recommend that you have conversations with about coverage needs. One, always very smart to talk to your primary care physician about your future healthcare needs and make sure that the plan that you're selecting will give you the coverage that you'll need. I always suggest talking to the insurance company. Maybe there's certain procedures or maybe there's a certain illness that you have, and you certainly want to make sure that that coverage is going to be taken care of by that insurance company. I always recommend giving them a call. Also, you have the opportunity, like I had mentioned a few times, to talk to your SHIP counselor. They're the State Health Insurance Assistant Program to get personalized one-on-one Medicare counseling over the phone or in person. There is the website and the link right there for you that you can go and check. You'll simply put a zip code in and they will find the counselors that are available to you. Again, Jonathan will be sharing this slideshow with you, so you will have this. No need to go crazy and writing things down right now. And I would probably say I'd like to throw a nugget in here, probably really important. A lot of people ask, how often do procedures get denied? How often do referrals to specialists get denied? I would say outside of your doctor, probably the most important person to talk to is your primary care physician's office manager. Let's say you have a toss-up between State Farm and USAA Life Insurance Company. One is a B plus, one is a B. The rates are roughly the same. One is a little bit cheaper than the other. Go to the office manager and ask them, I have a choice. It's between State Farm, Medicare Supplemental Insurance, or insurance. USAA insurance for my Medicare supplement. The office manager will absolutely tell you which company is easier to work with. Trust me when I tell you, they know what companies play tug of war with her. They know what companies that are really quick. Because I will tell you, if I went to my primary care physician and he said, hey, Tom, you have an enlarged prostate, I'm going to tell you right now, I do not want to wait for a 25-year-old sitting in a cubicle to give a yay or a nay decision on whether or not I can go and have this situation diagnosed a little further. I'd like to know that by the time I hit the front desk that we're setting up that second appointment and that the referral was already approved. I think that's very important. And again, your primary care physician's office manager could be a fantastic resource for you. How to get your own Medigap report? Well, you'll go to your library's website and locate the database for Weiss Financial Ratings. Your reference librarian can assist you with locating the database and assist in running a report with you. Now, if anyone would like, I could certainly run a report for you now so you could sort of take a look at what one of these reports look like, because without a doubt, I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you. But I would like to open it up to any Q&A. And if you'd like me to actually run a report for you, I'd be more than happy to run a report so you could sort of see what a report looks like.
Thank you, Tom. That was a really great presentation. A lot of useful information there. I always really love your tip about contacting the office manager. I feel like that's just some great
One,
wisdom there.
and you're going to make a great friend because having a brother-in-law who runs a clinic and is the head family doctor at a very large hospital, um, his office manager plays tug of war all day long with insurance companies. And it's always nice that they're going to be able to give you the information that you need and that you were actually looking out for them, making their life a little bit easier in the way of making sure that you're getting the care that you deserve.
Um, we do have a couple folks saying they'd love to see an example of the report. And then I just want to, in case anyone has to leave, I do want to remind everyone about another opportunity to get information about Medicare. That's going to be next Tuesday, November 25th. I'll put the link in the chat again. But that'll be another good opportunity to ask questions about Medicare and all the processes. So I'll let Tom take it back, and we'll see one of these reports.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing on my screen just for the time being. And I will go back to sharing. Now, obviously, I'm going to be sharing this off of my page here, but this will be very similar to if you had access through the San Francisco Public Library website and finding the Weiss financial ratings database. And here's where I was telling you about finding the safety ratings for banks, credit unions, and insurance companies. There's the Medigap report right there. And if you forget that, you sort of, this is pretty easy. It's pretty big right in the middle there. You sort of can't miss that big tab. I'm going to click on that Medigap tab. And that's going to take me right to this Medigap report, building our own customized Medicare Supplement Insurance Planner. Here we have the first name, last name, and email address, the age, the gender, and the zip code. I did want to point out to everyone down at the bottom here, we do take your privacy seriously. Your name and email address are not collected for any purpose. If you prefer, you could just simply put initials above. When you do enter your email address, a copy of this customized report will be emailed to you. A lot of people like to keep them year after year to see what the differences are in premiums. If you'd rather not receive a copy of the report, just simply just put in ignore at grayhouse.com. So let's go and let's see what the happy patron, and I am going to do ignore at grayhouse.com. Why? Because if I had $1 for every time I ran a report, I'd be a millionaire. And is there anybody in our audience that wants to give me an age, gender, and zip code? Nothing yet?
It looks like LaRonda offered. Do you mind putting that in the Q&A window, LaRonda? We're getting lots of volunteers here.
Well, you'll be able to run your own customized report the second we pop off here, and I would highly, highly recommend it.
So we're getting a lot that are in the range of between 73, 75 female in a
Okay.
San Francisco zip code. So we can do the library, which is 94102.
02. And so we'll do a 73-year-old female in 94102. And now I'm going to hit get report. Right about now, we are pulling every single insurance company that is capable of writing a policy in a zip code of 94102. We're pulling the safety rating, the annual premium, the monthly premium, and the contact information. There it is right there, the happy patron, 73-year-old female in San Francisco, California. Now we can just simply scroll down here, but I like to utilize it another way. The whole first half of this report, I wanted to point out to you, gives a lot of really great information. Here's a breakdown, answers to your questions about Medigap. This tells us exactly what does Medicare cover, and there's about 9 pages here, so it's really comprehensive. This will tell us what Medicare is going to pay for and what we're going to be responsible to pay for. You know, which Medigap plan to choose. There are a lot of really neat things in the whole first half of this report. But let's say we wanted to look for that plan G, that PPO style comprehensive coverage. I go down to plan G, and I have access to all of these insurance companies. Safety rating, annual premium, monthly premium, and there it is right there. USAA Life Insurance Company, B plus safety rating, 2178 for a 73-year-old female. And obviously, as we scroll down, we see that the prices can United American Insurance Company, almost $4,600. So and these are all Plan G. You're getting the same coverage, the same services, but do you see the gap in what one can pay? Now, here we give everything from if you land into a preferred, a standard, if you use tobacco. So here's USAA Life Insurance Company for a 73-year-old female, B plus, 2178, 178. Well, let's say that 73-year-old is a tobacco user. Well, there's USAA Life Insurance Company tobacco, 2696. This is about $400 difference. $220 a month to opposed to 178. So again, right about now, people are paying like $25 for a pack of cigarettes. I'm sure that people are, if they're willing to pay that much money for a pack of cigarettes, I don't think they're going to mind paying the extra $30 or $40 a month so that they can continue to use the luxury, I guess, so to speak, of what they feel of smoking cigarettes or using tobacco. But again, you could see all of the safety ratings here, the annual premium, the monthly premium. As you can see, remember I said it very little. There's only 2 companies that fall into D. U is unrated. That means that we did not get enough information, or the California State Insurance Bureau did not get enough information for us to make an accurate assessment for the safety ratings for these policies. Anything that does have a rating, that means that the numbers, they were submitted to the State Insurance Bureau, and we feel very accurate with these safety ratings. Now, let's say we wanted to go with the State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance. Go right down to the appendix here. There's USAA Life Insurance Company. There's the phone number. And we're looking for State Farm. There's Humana. And let me see. Did I pass State Farm? There it is right there. Give them a call. They'll answer a few questions. They'll pull your medical, a quick medical, and they'll tell you right there on the spot if you qualify for a standard policy, a preferred policy, or even a level 2 policy. And then you can make the choice right there, whether or not you want to bind the insurance. One of the nice things about calling the insurance companies have gotten away from having licensed salespeople answer your calls. they actually get paid by the ratings of their reviews. Their job is to give you the most accurate information and make sure that all of the information that you're looking for is addressed in a factual manner. There's going to be nobody there to pressure you um, to bind the insurance or buy the insurance. The bind is just a fancy insurance term for buying the insurance. Uh, but know this, that when you do business with a broker or an agency, uh, their job is to sell you insurance. They don't get paid unless you sign on a dotted line. Uh, to opposed to calling the insurance company direct, their job is to give you the most accurate information because that's what they get graded on. Hopefully that makes sense. Did anybody have any questions in regards to the report itself?
Um, there was one person that asked if this works if they're in a different county. I responded that, yeah, they can just put their zip code in with the report options and get a report based on their location.
Well, here's something. We had the four secrets of Medigap. Remember, we went through the last one was you can make the choice. Well, here's the fifth secret. If you have friends in other counties and other states, if you get their email address, their age, their gender, and their zip code, you can run a report for them. And why is that? Because San Francisco, your library, they subscribe to this resource. So you're not stuck by 94102. You can pull any zip code you want and you can run that report. You can see um, you can go to New York and you can see on just how expensive it is here in New York or Connecticut. California's actually done a pretty good job with keeping the costs relatively inexpensive. And even more importantly, you'll see if you run in other states, you'll see a lot of D's and E's in there. As you were able to see, the San Francisco area had only two companies that were rated a D. Everybody else was a C or a higher, which I applaud them for that.
Um, couple other things. So, a couple of people have pointed out that they were not able to save the chat. I will include a record of the whole chat in my follow-up email, so you'll have everything, all the links that I've been putting in there. So don't worry about that. Let's see. There was another question about these reports. If it says NA for monthly premium, does that mean you have to pay the whole yearly premium up front?
No, I apologize for that. I should have mentioned that. Just divide it by 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's that they didn't do it for us.
Um,
So yeah, just break it down to 12 monthly payments. So if it's 2,400, divided by 12, that'll give you the breakdown of what the monthly cost is going to be. Almost every single insurance company provides monthly premium options.
okay. So we are getting close to running out of time. I'll try
Mhm.
to we'll try and do a couple more of these questions. There are a few questions asking for clarification on when you can enroll. So I think this is a good. So is it true that the Medigap supplemental plan can be only changed or replaced during the 60 days following your birthday, or it can be changed during the open enrollment period, December or October 15th through December 7th?
The now if you are initially starting, like there are people that obviously are turning 65, um, either before or after that open enrollment period. So you can enroll whenever you enroll into Medicare. Those are the exceptions. Um, However, you can only change during the open enrollment period unless there are circumstances that cause you, like maybe moving out of the area. And obviously, a new area may not have the same type of coverage that you currently have. Uh, those are uh, those are situations that they make adjustments for.
Okay. So I don't think we're going to be able to get to all of these questions, and some of
There's a
them
lot.
are quite specific. I would again, recommend folks to join next Tuesday. There's going to be someone from um, Medicare that can hopefully answer some of these questions. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I would feel bad about not answering. We're getting some thank yous in here, Tom. People appreciate this presentation. Let's see. Oh, there were a couple questions about like, do doctors have to accept Medigap plans? So I know you touched upon on this, but maybe just to clarify it to folks, uh, you know, um, what sort of choice do you have in your
Well, I mean,
providers?
I would, if you're getting a Plan G, which is a PPO, that means that the insurance company will pay whatever physician that you're going to see. Um, I always think it's a good idea if there are two insurance companies that you're interested in. Uh, See if your doctor is actually listed as a provider for that particular insurance company. I would always recommend that. And again, always having that conversation with the office manager uh, helps out a whole ton. Um, and again, a lot of these supplemental policies through Medigap do not offer the prescription drug coverage or vision or hearing. Uh, Almost all insurance companies will offer. So if you see a policy that you like and you say, hey, they're telling me I need prescription drug coverage or they're going to penalize me for not having it, they'll be able to provide you with a small policy and combine that with this policy so that you do not get penalized for that.
Okay. Getting more thank yous, both to you, Tom, and uh, some appreciation for the library subscribing to Weiss ratings. Like, yes, we think it's a very valuable tool. Please use it. In addition to this Medigap tool, there are also great resources if you're an investor, you want to research a company. So yeah, even if you're not looking for Medigap insurance, hop on to Weiss ratings, take a look at what's on there. It's really valuable.
I will tell you that I've been in my position here for 5 years. I was a wealth manager for 37 years, and I sold my practice about 5 years ago, and I started working here. And I can tell you, in my time here, I thoroughly enjoy working with the San Francisco Public Library, one of my favorite libraries to work with. You have some of the greatest reference librarians there that are so helpful. And I would just highly recommend everybody to utilize your reference librarians. They are just such a wealth of knowledge and information for you. So, without a doubt, I'm humbled every time I get the opportunity to present. One of the things that I can tell you, being part of being there for a very catastrophic event in New York City, which led me to come to the realization that time is the most precious thing on the face of this earth. And it's time is something that we can't buy and we can't borrow. And I would probably end by saying if I was able to add even a little bit of value in the last hour and 25 minutes that we spent together, it was time extremely well spent by me. And I thank you for your time.
Yes. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. Like Tom said, I hope that this was valuable for you. And, please reach out to us at the Business Science and Technology Center. We're happy to help you. If you want to run one of these reports, we can guide you through that. Also, if you're just interested in other business and finance resources or you have questions, reach out to us. We love um, sharing library resources and talking about how we might be able to help you. So thank you for joining us, and please get in touch. Um, and also a reminder, I'm going to send out a follow-up email later today with the slideshow and a link to the recording. And I also want to do a plug for filling out our evaluation survey. I'm going to put a link in the chat again. I'll include this in the email as well. We do take these seriously. We use these to improve our programs and plan new ones. In fact, some of our um, most popular programs have been the result of suggestions from patrons, suggestions that we got in these evaluation surveys. So it really only takes a minute or two. Please fill that out. I'd really appreciate it. Um, all right, Tom, again, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're going to have you back soon to talk about some other Weiss ratings resources. Yeah, everyone, keep an eye on our events calendar. You can come see Tom join us again. Thanks,
My
Tom.
pleasure. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Jonathan, very much.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
You as well. Bye now.
Bye bye.